work like it's supposed to, that's for sure. We are at the National Weather Service office over at the airport. Very busy day over here, and I also want to show you one thing, that besides all the heat we've had around Arizona, we even have some showers up in the high country. Our photographer Steve Clark will push in on that sort of centralized map of Arizona. Now, all the stuff there that you see around the center, all that is clutter right there, but off to the east, in fact, I'll put my finger right up there, these showers are over in the Globe area, down around the Tucson area, and also there are a few showers up around the rim near that fire. Now, that really isn't good news, though, folks, because a lot of these storms are going to produce a lot of lightning and not a lot of rain, so that could produce some additional fires in the high country. Well, let's talk about those numbers one more time, shall we? 120 degrees, a record high not only on this date, but since they've been keeping records here at the Phoenix weather station. Of course, it hasn't always been here at the airport. 88 was our morning low. By the way, that 120 is 49 Celsius. Normal's 104 and 74. Right now, it's still 120. 11% the humidity, winds out of the west, barometric pressure is falling, and the dew point sneaking up there, it's at 51 degrees. Well, let's take a look at some of our national maps. First of all, these are high temperatures around the country this afternoon, and you can basically see that the western half of the country was very, very unseasonably hot. 98 at Denver today, 100 Salt Lake City, 92 at Cheyenne, 99 Oklahoma City, 109 at El Paso, 79 at San Diego. By the way, the 120 that we had in Phoenix also, we turned out to get a 120 at Buckeye, Youngtown, Gila Bend. Was there another one, gentlemen? Those were the three, weren't they? Buckeye, Gila Bend, and Youngtown. Okay, those were the 120s, and of course that's 77 over at LA. Tomorrow, more of the same, folks. The heat is going to stay on, especially in the southwest, and look at the 100s. They're going to stretch all the way in through western Nebraska and southwestern sections of South Dakota. Here's the latest satellite map for you, and we've plotted the front and the radar on top of the clouds for you. Scattered thunderstorms. Southern sections of Florida. Miami's had some thunderstorms in the area during the daytime hours today. Also scattered storms eastern sections of Texas and what is called the Arklatex, where Arkansas, Louisiana, and Texas come together, their state borders there. And as you can see, also scattered showers out ahead of a cold front that's moving through the northern plain states, and those showers extend through sections of Colorado and New Mexico. And as we showed you just a second ago, we do have some widely scattered storms throughout Arizona. In fact, we can take a closer look at the state, and this really is going to be the pattern for the next couple of days. A slow increase in the amount of moisture around Arizona, isolated thunderstorms in the high country, especially the central mountains and the eastern third of the state during the late afternoon and evening hours, and then they will die down as they usually do after sunset. And again, this really isn't good news yet because we don't have a monsoon flow, and so most of these thunderstorms are dry thunderstorms with lots of lightning, not a lot of rain, and so the forest fire danger is very, very high. Okay, let's go to our forecast then for here in the valley tonight. We're showing you one of the time-lapse satellite maps here at the Weather Service. Warm with a low of 91. We're going to go for it one more time tomorrow, folks, with a high of 120 degrees. This could be a normal high someday, who knows, right? Slightly more humid on Wednesday, 117, the extended forecast.
Heidi Fogelsong, Mike Chamberlain, Jim Howe, and Royal Norman. Arizona's News Channel, News Channel 3.
Is it more than 120 today?
That's the question on most minds this sweltering summer day as Phoenix nears a mercury meltdown. Good evening, everyone. The temperature topped out at an unbelievable 122 degrees.
That shatters the city's all-time summer weather records for the second day in a row. And the heat is making outdoor work very, very miserable. It also could be to blame for as many as 3 deaths. Phoenix fire officials say a woman was rushed to the hospital by ambulance and later died, possibly from the heat. 2 other people also died, and one of them complained of heat exhaustion symptoms.
Now, most people really feeling the heat today, and with good reason. Now, Royal Norman is at the National Weather Service with the final very warm numbers.
Well, Frank, as you mentioned, 122 was our record. We're here at the Weather Service where it's a very, very active day. You know, that 122 is only 5 degrees off the all-time record for Arizona, and we now have a new category of weather statistics that Jim Howe pointed out today. Most consecutive days over 120. We have now had 2 in a row. There are many instruments in the Weather Service office, but today, this was the most important one. As the thermometer topped 121 degrees at 127 this afternoon, yesterday's all-time record of 120 fell quickly. Even with the record heat, life goes on, and for a government meteorologist, that can mean hourly treks up to this observation deck.
Well, it's awfully hot. You know, it's a lot harder to climb up those stairs when it's 121 out there and awfully humid. And all the heat radiating from the roof. Awfully hot.
And what do you do up there?
Look around, look at the clouds, see how far I can see what I can see, if there's anything significant.
And with this unprecedented heat, even the normally placid meteorologists here are at least a little bit excited.
Incredible heat. IH. It's hot.
Unbelievable. I never thought I'd see it, but it's here.
That's all I can say.
Aren't you glad you're inside?
Yes, I am. I sure am. Maybe again tomorrow. We'll see.
Then at 2:47 this afternoon, yet another record, 122 degrees. Well, is it possible we will be hotter tomorrow? Yes, it is, and Jim and I will be back with the forecast just a bit. This heat also, Frank, as you know, has been causing lots of problems around the valley.
That's true, Royal, and right over your right shoulder, there's a personalized plate. Thunder showers, I think we're all hoping it's soon.
Any time now, Frank, maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks before the monsoon gets here.
Okay, thank you, Royal.
For the first time ever, flights at Sky Harbor Airport were grounded because of the heat. Once the thermometer rose above 120 degrees, airlines began halting operations. Kater Lee is at Terminal 1. She joins us now to explain exactly what happened.
Well, Heidi, now flight operations are slowly returning to normal now that the temperature is dropping, but just a couple of hours ago, it was a totally different story. Once the temperature at the airport tower hit 121, unprecedented decisions had to be made.
We are holding off on boarding due to the temperature of 122 degrees. The aircraft cannot take off.
We're setting records in Phoenix, and all of a sudden, most incoming and outgoing flights on the America West schedule read delayed due to heat.
It must take a place like Phoenix to be able to do this. I've been delayed by a variety of things, but never 120, 121 degrees.
It's a surprising inconvenience for passengers, but they try to keep cool about the hot weather.
I want it to be safe before that plane takes off. I don't care if I have to wait another hour or so. I certainly would rather do that.
The problem is most commercial airplanes depend on a certain level of engine thrust and lift to get off the ground. In the extreme heat, it takes a longer runway for the planes to be able to take off and land. And Boeing, the manufacturer of the jets, didn't plan for these scorching temperatures.
Not that the airplanes can't operate at these temperatures, it's that no one ever contemplated that they would have to. So the charts that we use to set the performance criteria for the airplane to determine takeoff speed and so forth just don't go beyond 120 degrees.
It's a highly unusual situation, one that in all my years, 22 years here in Phoenix, I've never come up against before.
There you can see an America West jet is taking off, so flight operations are slowly returning back to normal. And Boeing is working on new performance guidelines for temperatures above 120 degrees, so the airlines will know what to do when it gets this hot again. Now, most flights were diverted to Tucson and nearby airports, and the airlines are working hard to accommodate all those passengers so they won't have too long of delays, Heidi.
Kater, thank you.
While we're breaking records here in Phoenix, people in Flagstaff are also getting unseasonable heat. It was in the 90s today up north, and Lisa Schnebley joins us from beautiful northern Arizona with more.
Frank, it's kind of hard to find a pool up here in Flagstaff, but the Five Flags Inn does have one, and it's a good place to be right now. We had 94 degrees today, which is 2 degrees short of our record, but maybe because we're 6,000 feet higher, it feels very hot. And how it affects people seems to depend on where they come from.
Even in the 90s, Flagstaff feels pretty good to people from Phoenix.
When did you come up?
Yesterday.
Ah, after it hit 120?
Right. Right. Came up last night.
Is this cool enough?
Oh, it's very cool.
Her son Kendall can be outside here. But after San Francisco, Larry Nile finds this uncomfortable.
Well, I thought it would be pretty hot, but not this hot.
So it does seem hotter to you than you expected?
Well, I'm used to 60-degree weather, so it's pretty hot for me.
Of course, you can always go inside, but that doesn't necessarily mean getting out of the heat. A lot of the buildings in Flagstaff do not have any air conditioning.
We have ceiling fans in some of the rooms, but not all of them. As far as I know, we don't have any other way to cool them down.
Just go into life still.
Just go to Sedona in the creek.
But even Oak Creek Canyon, when it hits the hundreds, is not quite as refreshing.
We're ready to move to Alaska.
Yeah, but then you got the creek back here to go hop in, swim, and have a good time, slide rock. It's not bad at all.
Usually the first thing to do when I get back to the bureau is look at tape, but not now. Now the first thing is turn on the fan. And in old, quaint, historic buildings, the air conditioning is a little different. It works like that.
The highway crews rely on an occasional breeze and say there aren't enough.
Well, sometimes it seems like the sun's closer, but I don't know. It's not that extreme heat, but it's plenty hot. I don't know, 90 degrees up here seems like 110 down there, so.
It really does seem hotter here than the degrees would feel in Phoenix. And of course, Frank, with the canyon at the south rim, 93 degrees, it doesn't get much cooler when you go farther north. I guess we, like you,